Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you've just stumbled in, consider this your personal invitation to settle in, hit subscribe, and ring that bell, because today we're lifting the curtain on a headline that's got the fandom buzzing in 10 different languages. We're talking about Eternal Love Revealed, and this time the names wrapped in that tantalizing halo are Yaman and Demet Özdemir. 2 stars, 1 story, and a tide of questions that refuse to calm down. What are we really looking at here? Is this a grand confession about a relationship the world never quite let go of? A new project with a title designed to send hearts racing? Or is it the kind of emotional clue that spills from the screen into real life, where their chemistry was once born and perhaps never truly faded? Fasten in, because we're tracing every thread, every whisper, every flicker that points toward the truth. First, let's acknowledge the obvious: Yaman is a phenomenon. From Daliane to Bayanlis and his Italian breakthrough with Viola Come Il Mare, he's a hurricane of charisma, the kind that turns scripted romance into a visceral, breathing thing. And on the other side of that magnet is Demet Özdemir, graceful, luminous, razor-sharp when she wants to be, and known for giving her characters heartbeats you can almost hear. Together, back in the days of Erkenci Kuss, they didn't just act, they created a feeling. The kind of feeling fans named, claimed, and carried far beyond the final episode. So when the phrase Eternal Love Revealed started ricocheting around social feeds and fan pages, it was only a matter of time before their names rose to the surface. Those who remember their onset connection, how playful glances turned into quiet warmth, know exactly why the speculation caught fire. The question is whether we're dealing with a deeply personal revelation, or a cinematic promise that plays with the very idea of love beyond time, distance, and change. Let's split the possibilities, because each one tells a different story about Can and Demet. Scenario 1, the romantic reveal. In this version, the phrase reads like a veil being lifted. Maybe it hints at a connection that refused to vanish even as careers skyrocketed, borders shifted, and schedules filled with red carpets and 4 a.m. call times. With Can's international commitments and Demet's relentless evolution as a leading lady, it's easy to imagine how private moments would slip away from the spotlight. But if there's one thing years of Turkish showbiz have taught us, it's that the smallest cues can say the most. A liked photograph here, a shared quote there, a fleeting overlap in cities, Rome, Istanbul, perhaps a quick pass through a common airport lounge, and suddenly the silence begins to look like intention. Scenario 2. A project wrapped in poetry. Eternal Love Revealed could be a title, a tagline, or the soul of a scripted story. Picture Can and Demet stepping back into a world where love outruns the clock, where separation becomes a test rather than an ending, and where reunion brings the kind of catharsis fans have been craving for years. The marketing writes itself, trailers edged in moonlight, a soundtrack heavy with longing, and 2 faces the camera loves more than most. Maybe it's a film. Maybe it's a limited series. Maybe it's a campaign that leans into their history while giving us something audaciously new. And if you know anything about the way both of them commit to their work, you understand how a theme like eternity could become more than just branding. It could be the role that lets them pull from a place only they share. Then there's scenario 3, love beyond romance. Because the word eternal isn't limited to 2 people standing face to face. It can be devotion to craft, to family, to the causes that ground them when the world gets too loud. Can has channeled his influence into charity, into moments of real-world impact that outlast trends. Demet, too, has moved with deliberation, choosing roles that stretch her, collaborating on projects where she can bring both empathy and power. What if the revelation is about where their hearts return when the cameras stop? A love for what they do, for the communities that raised them, for the stories that won't let them go? Before we go further, let's take a breath and scan the breadcrumbs. If you've been watching their socials, you know the game. Sometimes a caption reads like a secret message. Sometimes a throwback photo lands without warning and the internet clears its calendar. A sunrise in a familiar neighborhood. A lyric about home that feels suspiciously pointed. A behind-the-scenes shot with lighting and wardrobe choices that look like more than coincidence. It's never a smoking gun, but it never has to be. Not when the world has already decided these two are chapters in the same book, even if those chapters were written years apart. And don't underestimate the industry eye for a headline. The phrase eternal love revealed is engineered to raise pulses, whether the reveal turns out to be a duet on screen or a confession over tea. If it's marketing, it's brilliant. It invites the public to bring their own memories, to fill in the blanks with old scenes and their own heartache. If it's personal, it's delicate, a love story tested by time, asked to live again under lights it once knew too well. Either way, it's impossible to ignore. Of course, the media filter matters. Watch how glossy magazines frame it. Are they using soft light and long sentences, urging us to savor the romance? Or are they leaning into certainty, insisting that something definitive has happened off camera? If you see more measured takes, thoughtful interviews, careful phrasing, that points toward a project aiming for emotional depth. If the tone skews breathless and insistent, well, you know what that usually signals. But here's the truth under all the noise. Whether eternal love revealed points to a shared path forward or simply honors the bond that once electrified a set, Can and Demet have always treated their story with a kind of protective dignity. Their public personas are different, his swagger and sudden softness, her elegance and quiet fire, but together they shaped a moment in television that still echoes. That kind of resonance doesn't fade just because calendars change. It becomes a compass. It guides choices, even when those choices are invisible to us. Imagine, for a second, the version where this phrase belongs to a production. The announcement drops with almost no details. The teaser is 30 seconds of glances and silence. The costumes say modern but timeless. The premise hints at lovers who keep finding each other in different versions of the same life. The press tour turns into a parade of careful answers. Smiles that don't give away much, jokes that steer around the most obvious questions. And yet, in one late-night interview, a single sentence slips out, some stories insist on being told again. You can practically hear the comment sections exploding. Now imagine the other version. No posters. No teasers. Just a revelation that what once felt unfinished never truly ended. It doesn't need fireworks. It's a window opened quietly, a moment where the past is acknowledged without apology, and the present is claimed with both hands. In that world, eternal love revealed isn't a script. It's a promise that the thing which mattered still matters, and maybe it always will. But there's a third path that's no less beautiful. It says that eternal love can be gratitude for the person who helped you discover yourself, for the partner who challenged you when it mattered. For the audience that believed so fervently it kept the memory of an on-screen couple alive long after last call. Maybe the reveal is less about reunion and more about recognition, a nod to a past that shaped them, and to a future where respect is the thread that never breaks. Let's not forget how strategic both of them can be. Ken knows how to command attention, and he's learned how to do it across borders. Demet understands the language of nuance, and she uses it with precision. If they were to stand on a stage together again, even for a cause, even for a single scene, the world would listen with held breath. And if this phrase is the signpost for that moment, then we are standing at the edge of something that could redefine what a screen partnership can mean after the credits roll. So where do we look for answers? The next few weeks will matter. A caption that mentions destiny. A playlist that bends toward old themes. A director known for romances that haunt you. An agency post that vanishes too quickly. And then, inevitably, some insider will claim a friend of a friend saw what we're all hoping to see. Take every exclusive with a grain of salt, but don't dismiss the rhythm of coincidence when it starts to feel like choreography. If we strip it all down, the strength of this moment lies in how it makes us feel. Eternal love revealed dares us to believe that what's real can survive the noise, the flights, the rumors, the reinventions. For Can, it could mean stepping into a role, or a reality, where vulnerability is the lead. For Demet, it could mean embracing a story that gives her space to glow from the inside out. For both, it could be the chance to honor what brought them here without letting it trap them in yesterday. And if it turns out to be a masterstroke of storytelling? Then bravo. Let the cameras roll. Let the dialogue cut to the bone. Let the quiet be loud. Because there's a reason this pairing became the blueprint for an entire era of Turkish romance. They made us believe. Not just in love that starts with laughter and banter, but in love that finds its way back after storms. Here's what we know for certain: a phrase like this doesn't surface by accident. It's either a beacon or a breadcrumb trail. Either way, it's designed to pull us closer. And whether the reveal belongs to their hearts or to their art, it's about endurance. About a connection that refuses to be reduced to a headline, even as a headline gives us the excuse to talk about it. So tell us, what do you think eternal love revealed means for Yaman and Demet Özdemir? Are we on the cusp of a reunion that will set the internet on fire? Are we days away from a teaser that will rewrite the rules for on-screen love? Or are we being invited to understand love, theirs and ours, in a way that stretches beyond the fairy tale frame? Drop your theories below. We read every word, we argue about them in the comments, and yes, we notice the tiny clues you send us, too. If this conversation made your heart race even a little, tap like so we know to dig deeper. Share this video with a friend who still can't listen to their old soundtrack without tearing up. And if you haven't joined our family yet, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and switch on notifications. Because whatever eternal love revealed truly is, when the truth breaks, we'll be right here, ready to watch it unfold, ready to feel it with you, ready to follow it wherever it leads. Until then, keep your eyes open and your heart steady. Some stories circle back at exactly the right time. Some names keep finding each other in the crowd. And sometimes, whether on screen or off, love writes its own sequel, and lets the whole world read the first line.